This film is sponsored by Wren, who have some great ideas to save the planet. But first of all, UFOs. Hey lovely people and welcome back. I'm super excited. What I'm going to share with you today is gold dust on UAPs. 6. There is the question of the frequently reported merging and emerging of smaller craft with larger ones. 2. Exotic vehicles in order to take an unbiased scientific approach, and the possibility of some sort of exotic vehicle, either terrestrial or from space, could not be ruled out. RAF encounters with UFOs. Phantom, December 75. Harrier, February 82. Tornado, December 85. Jaguar, November 86. It ties together lots of loose ends that I've been kind of working on and thinking about UAPs for months. So get to the point, what is it that I've found? Well, remember the Pentagon document on UAPs? Well, the declassified part where they don't really know what they are and they need to do more investigation? And remember how I'm a big fan of Avi Loeb's Galileo project that's going to answer once and for all what these little guys are. And he's going to do it by taking the ultimate picture, maybe using radar data, but really trying to understand scientifically what these UAPs could be. And one of the possibilities that the Pentagon has already mentioned in its executive summary is that the UAPs could be, and it's only one possibility, a force of nature, a plasma effect possibly associated with the term Earthlights. Aha! Earthlights, remember them? Remember Paul Devereux? Paul Devereux is the world's leading expert and actually named the term Earthlights. His best description of what an Earthlight is a luminous light, often aerial, in the sky, plasma effect, but with strange qualities. He used the term quantum effects. I wasn't sure what he meant, but now I'm getting the real drift of where he was going with that. And Paul Devereux's involvement in solving the mystery for the British government. And that's the subject of this film. In the late 1990s, early 2000s, the British MOD wanted to draw a line under their UFO office. The public face of the MOD UFO office was Nick Pope. But UFOs were really investigated by Department 155, the Space Technology Ballistic Missile Branch. Enter David Clarke. David Clarke is an associate professor at Sheffield Hallam University, looking at myths and legends, how it affects us as society. He's not just interested in UFOs, he does Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and crop circles. Fantastic chap, but he has a passion, and that passion is to release secret documents under the Freedom of Information Act to actually get stuff out into the public domain. And he found something. So a bit of background for American and other countries. Britain is quite a secret country, but it does have a public records office. Governments really shouldn't, although they can, keep things secret for more than 30 years. After 30 years, they get published. And so, Prime Minister's secret memos, things about the royal family and UFOs, they're all just put into the Public Records Office on the day of the 30th anniversary. David Clarke is often down at the National Archives office near Kew Gardens, seeing what's released that day. New UFO reports kept on being published into the public domain, and David Clarke saw a reference. It was given the code letter C and was named Condign, written by a senior scientist at the MOD Technology Ballistic Missile Branch. Remember that word, because we're going to be returning to this amazing document over the next few weeks, time and time again, because it's gold dust. So David Clarke made an application for this unknown report, if it existed, to be published. Luckily, somebody at the Ministry of Defense kind of thought it was a good idea, approved the application, and released a nearly 400-page MOD report into UFOs, UAPs, from a military point of view. Talks about their application, talks about how military technology could be involved, talks about foreign powers, talks about aliens, talks about Rendlesham. Talks about Rendlesham. It talks about lots of things. Lots and lots of things. I'm kind of late to this party. This all happened in 2005, although it took a year until the report was actually put onto a shelf in the Public Records Office. And there's a link below in the description, and you can download it all. It's free, it's unclassified, some of it's redacted, mainly just people's names, but there's 400 pages on UAPs. Wonderful. But why is it so interesting? Well, it's so interesting because it talks about one possibility and application of what UAPs, I'm going to put myself out on a limb here, probably are. So the Pentagon report, the executive summary, the declassified part of it anyway, puts together a list of the most likely things that UAPs, the ones that we saw, the Tic Tac, the fast mover, what could they be? And they come up with 4 main possibilities. Possibility number 1 is that they are our military tech. Possibility 2 is that they're foreign military tech, probably, let's say, Russian or Chinese. Possibility 3 is that they are an unknown force of nature. And right down at the very bottom, possibility 4 is that they're alien technology. And to this day, the Americans are still thinking about it. They don't really see them as a defense threat, but they don't know what they are. But listen again to what they said. Possibility 3 is that they could be a force of nature, an unknown force of nature. That got my interest. And that possibility is exactly what interests the MOD. You have to remember that the British government have been investigating UFOs for decades. Winston Churchill, during World War II, was very intrigued by what his pilots were seeing. There have been thousands of certified encounters. So it's reasonable to expect that the MOD had a lot of data to go on to explain what these things are. And their conclusions are this: 80% are man-made, explainable sightings, but 19% are what they call exotic plasma events. And of course that leaves 1% left of genuinely unknown sightings. So what exactly is the plasma effect? Well, there's one person who describes it perfectly. Paul Devereux came up with the term Earthlights from his research all over the world. This type of aerial phenomenon is seen in many countries and definitely is real. People have interpreted these lights in the sky using their cultural bias. In the Far East, they're interpreted as a sign of God. The ancient Chinese thought they were dragons. And in the West, they're called UFOs, flying saucers. But what exactly is an Earthlight? I spoke to Paul Devereux.
Well, when I'm asked what are Earthlights, usually spherical and usually aerial in the sky, but sometimes they can come out of the ground and have been seen emerging from the ground. So they are exotic, I think, plasma phenomena. I've talked to people all over the world who have researched them, seen them, filmed them, photographed them, and they are an unresearched area, I think, of nature's rich store of mysteries. And I think they have a lot to teach us if we were even looking. And only the fringe are looking at them. They've got immediately merged into UFOs. And I'm not sure what UFOs are, but these aren't spacecraft. These aren't extraterrestrial. They are terrestrial. They are Earthlights.
Well, that's the focus of this 400-page Condign Report. And I'll be deep diving on your behalf into what exactly it says. We're going to discover secret UK laboratories. We're going to really look at what Paul Devereux has discovered worldwide. We're going to reassess the Rendlesham incident. We're going to go back to Bawdsey and Orford Ness and Martlesham Heath. And all this was done in the UK 21 years ago. The US needs to catch up. The military application of UAPs is discussed in this report. Interesting stuff. It's literally world-changing. And changing our world for the better is our personal responsibility. Cutting down on burning stuff, driving less, changing your vehicle type, lobbying government, but also doing things in your community or just in your family to protect our wonderful planet. And I've come across this organization called Wren. Wren will help you to make the world a better place. Many of us are doing our bit, but Wren are sponsoring projects all over the world to plant trees and to clean up our environment. So how does Wren work? We all have a carbon footprint, and if we can offset the amount of carbon we burn, Wren will work out your personal carbon footprint and suggest a contribution you can make to become carbon neutral. And Wren have a special offer for you. The first 100 people who sign up with the link below will have 10 extra trees planted in their name. In part 2, we'll learn how Britain's UAP research moved on from Earthlights and developed a technology that could make their own UAPs. This is truly fascinating research. If you enjoy films like this, give it a thumbs up, share with friends, and do all the other stuff. Because maybe this time, the truth is here.